Hey everybody, how you doing? Tom Barnes here. Stories from the 78. Are you enjoying your Friday afternoon just yet? You know what you're doing this weekend? You got some plans? Digging around some vinyl records to see if you can add to your collection, going out and having a bite to eat, seeing a movie. The weather could be iffy this weekend, but there's always live music in Chicago. And if you're not in Chicago, wait until you get a chance to see the band Easy Honey. They got a new EP out called Plaid. They're going to be here in Chicago, which is why I'm talking to you, at Schubas, a great music venue in the city in like the Lakeview neighborhood, not far from Wrigley Field, right on Southport, Belmont, Southport. It's fantastic. And this band is fantastic. It's like a mix between Wilco and Big Star and Springsteen and a bunch of other bands, because these guys are out of South Carolina. They all met out at a school in like... right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. They recorded the album in Colorado. All these things I'm going to talk about now with one of the members of the band. Selby, man, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, Tom.
So you guys have had a pretty busy month of March. You just came off of South by Southwest. How was that?
That was a dream come true, man. Getting to go to Austin, Texas and play 3 shows in one day and really experience the full South by Southwest. We've been hearing about it for a long time, but it was great. Really fun time. Got to see some other bands that we're friends with and go to some late night shows, play some late night shows. It was great.
I just watched this like random movie on Amazon about a band in Detroit doing the same thing, like driving down to South by Southwest. Of course, they had no money, and half of the movie was about them just getting there. But it made me think of this story of like you guys, that's your thing, seeing your friends on South by. What's that experience like, though? You guys have been. I read about a bit of your tour that you did recently. You called it like the surf tour because you guys are like East Coast. How is that experience? And you got to tell me about that. But how does that experience differ from going to like something like South by Southwest?
Well, I heard a quote one time about how tour is a lot of waiting around. So I don't know if you're waiting around to sound check and then you're waiting around to play. And then so you fill your time and try to be an artist as much as you can on the road and, 24/7. It was a cool experience. Like, just being at something where there's so much talent and art and, in a city like Austin was really cool. I mean, one of the highlights with the trip too was we played this festival in Arkansas on the way home that was pretty DIY, and it's called Valley of the Vapors. And it was in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and it was like it was cool. Lovely. It was lovely, man. So I don't know if that really answered your question, but we try to approach all the stuff the same and put on a great show and be ourselves and whatever the setting is.
Well, you mentioned little DIY. You guys did something with like putting up a traffic jam sign in like South Carolina on the side of the road, all for like just camaraderie in music. Like, tell people about that. We'll get into like you guys got an EP. You're coming to Chicago.
Yeah.
I mentioned all that earlier in the intro, but you guys are playing at Schubas on Sunday, April 12th. We'll get to the EP and all that stuff, but I wanted to ask you about this stuff because I find your music refreshing in all the right ways. I mean, definitely vibes of like I heard like, I don't know if you're familiar with the band Wilco, but definitely vibes of like Wilco and Springsteen and even Big Star. It's just nice to hear a band that's using instruments as instruments and not relying so much on electronic. And I mean electronic like computer electronic. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know what I'm saying? It's just nice to hear a band be a band again, man.
Well, I'll start with I don't know how much you guys get this being based in Chicago and stuff, but some of our biggest influences are the Smashing Pumpkins and Wilco, and there's just so much great music that's come out of Chicago. I'm actually my brother who plays bass in the band. We grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, where Big Star, had its little comet of whatever that was that had and had so many influences on the Replacements and all those other bands. So that music has definitely seeped into our souls and is, part of our authenticity, of wanting to, just get up and deliver songs with with passion, you know, whether it be a really, you know, fast paced rock song or a slower sentimental part of the set. So love all those bands you mentioned, but uh, the traffic jam was something that we came up with um, 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and you know, we don't do it for money. We don't really do it for promotion. We just do it to, you know, it's just kind of this fun idea of like when we all moved to Charleston, there's Folly Beach, and it's definitely the surf hippie beach of Charleston. It's not the posh one, and that's where we would go, and that's where we've learned how to surf, and it's a really cool spot. And yeah, you know, so in the summer, it just there's a little bit of traffic, and we were like, well, what if we
Oh,
set
I
up on the
see.
side of the road and just played and, you know, just made people listen to us. And it's just been so funny, man. People get so much joy from that. It surprises me every time. Like people are just like, this is the coolest thing, man. Like, and it kind of takes us really back. It sounds cheesy, but it kind of takes me back to the roots of like, it really is fun. You know, it's just so fun. And people like see that and they're like, it just brings joy to people, man. And it's like, and we don't even play like a bunch of songs. We just jam and, um, yeah,
Yeah, I read like people
it's a,
like would join you doing that. Did people like get out, like
yeah,
pull over, like, wait, hold on a second, hold on. Do you know
yeah.
this song? And they would
We
start like playing, and then you guys would
We've
just
had
go
some
from there.
guests. Yeah, we've had some guests over the years, guest musician friends come up. We haven't had someone actually get out of the car yet and pick up one of the instruments. That is this year that we need that to happen.
In Chicago, there is in the summertime. I don't think it's started just yet, but it's been all over social media. But there are concerts in the Chicago River, like in the neighbor, because the Chicago River is not just downtown; it seeps all the way south and north side. I don't know if you're familiar, and forgive me if you are, but on the north side of the city, as it cuts through neighborhoods, there's like
Yes.
little pylons in the river, and this band will go out and play on the pylons and have like this impromptu concert where people like take their boats, from all over
Oh, I
the
love
city,
that.
and they like come and they just congregate, and they just like jam out to this band that's playing either straight acoustic, right, or they got like a little like car battery, and
Yeah.
they plug their gear into the car which what can go wrong on the river. But either way, it's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I
That is
love
so
that.
like rock and roll music. That's so like what music should be, right? And what you're telling me, kind of like I'm envisioning it in my head, like in South Carolina, but all the vibes are
Yeah.
working, man. It sounds very
Yeah.
similar. So like I
It
think you would
totally is.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, you know, as much as like venues do so much for, um, you know, the whole thing, it's still cool to break outside the box, and that really gets people going, you know, to like come out and see something different. So yeah, we'll have to catch one of those Chicago River shows. That's
It's
cool as hell.
it's such a random thing, but it happens every year, and every year it's gotten like bigger and bigger, and
Yeah,
but not like where it's ruined, not like that big, but
yeah,
cool enough, because like one day all of a sudden you'll just like drive, because all these rivers have bridges over them, or tiny little roads over them, and you see and you're like, oh shit, I gotta pull over, man. You like people just pull over and they just sit
yeah,
there and listen to this music. It's really cool. But it sounds like you guys have been that's like your vibe, though, your band's vibe. Easy Honey,
yeah,
you guys met in college, like over like I was reading about like your whole thing, because I wasn't familiar with you guys, so I wanted to
yeah.
know a little bit about you. And it was as easy as like in college over like a giant punch bowl that had every kind of alcohol in it type of thing. Is that what
Total.
was that what I read?
Oh, oh yeah. It was like shooting fish in a barrel, like kind of where we went to college and formed, because people like the Southeast is a place where a lot of colleges support live music and have
Hmm.
bands come play. But at our small college, it was a really special thing whenever an out of town band would come in. So like when we would fill in the gaps and go and play, it was a nice receptive audience to original music, which was a big kind of jumping off point for us. You know.
And you guys had all your music. I was listening to the EP. I was on Spotify listening to some other stuff. It's very different from song to song, but yet all
Yeah.
kind of this. And maybe this is what you guys are going for, because this is kind of the area that you're playing music from. But definitely that, driving with the windows down, or in the
Yeah.
summertime, or campfire music is accompanying you. You have stuff that's very soulful, very vulnerable, with lyrically and also with the instruments. That's why I was falling in love with just hearing like an acoustic guitar or just a guitar and drums, or just the simplicity of all the vocals of the singer singing as an added instrument to the music.
Yeah, this EP, we really tried to serve the song, and what we came out with was, it was an interesting experiment, because we gathered songs, a list of 30 to 40 songs, and whittled it down and really worked on those couple in pre-production out in this cabin.
Like in Colorado, right?
It was in Colorado, and it was funny because we have a good friend who's a very experienced mountaineer, and he was like, let me find the place where y'all can go and record. And I mean, it was out. We were sledding our gear down like like I'm used to going to a cabin, like a remote cabin, to record, and we pull right up and like unload the gear. But this one, we were like sledding our stuff down. I'm like, whoa, what did we get into here? Very remote. But anyway, what we tried to do was whatever the song called for and the story of the song, and we tried to really tilt the cone towards whatever we thought it called for. And what we ended up was 5 very different sounding songs. And I think that's an interesting experiment. I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like, all the songs feel a little different on the EP, and it's been really fun performing them live too. They've been hits in the set live, so it's been cool.
And the EP is called Plaid, right? And that's also the accompanying tour. And 5-song, and even as you were talking about it, as I didn't even realize I said this until I'm looking at the track listing, but you even have a song called Bonfire Burning, which I mean, kind of is what I was talking about earlier, but also very much like when you think about like a cabin in the mountains of Colorado, either snow or in the summertime, still, man, campfire accompanies all of it. But I imagine it gave you a spot, and to be that isolated, to just kind of experiment, because you guys haven't been a band for very long, right? It's only been since 2001, 22.
We've known each other for a long time, but we haven't really, the band really didn't start going and touring and doing stuff till post COVID era. Mm-hmm. We went on our first little tour, and then the next week the shutdown happened or whatever, and
oh jeez.
And so
kudos then we keep the band together through all that.
Yeah, we were all living together too, and that was happening. It was crazy, man. And we were doing I was watching I was just checking in on our YouTube channel, and I was like, we did some live streams during that. How good? Because we're always working on our set, like what's the set sound like? I was listening to one of the live streams. I was like, we've gotten better. Like we've gotten better. But man, it's I think Darby, the other kind of lead songwriter, guitar player, singer of the band, he was really found a deep hidden meaning in Plaid, and we each kind of bring something different to the table, and kind of thinking about Plaid as the pattern that's made up of different layers of things. One, it's a fabric of many different, but when you look at it at a whole, it's something beautiful. And I think that's kind of like what our EP is about. It's like all the songs are a little different. It's a different stripe or a different size square, but it's like when they're put together, it is something. And it's, like I said, it was an interesting experiment of work for us. And really, really happy with how it came out.
I find it ironic, on the one day that I don't wear plaid, I'm talking to you about an album called Plaid. I mean, that's like everything I own is plaid, but today I don't know what happened. Sorry,
love
man.
I missed the memo. It's all good, man. It's all good, man.
The EP, did it come out today, yesterday?
It comes out. It comes out 4:30 actually.
4:30. Okay, so I'm looking at an older thing. I apologize. 4:30 though. But you guys are playing it now and on your tour.
We're playing it now. I'm gonna look and make sure I have the date right. I think it's 4:28. But we are playing it now, and we have cassettes.
Yeah, 4:30. It says it here on this other thing. It says.
Oh heck yeah!
Or maybe it's just. It says album really. Yeah, so whatever. It's fine. It's all good.
No, go follow us. We're gonna
4:30. We're gonna call it 4:30. I'll listen to the guy in the band, not this random SoundCloud thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, man. What were we talking about? I can't remember what we were talking about.
Plaid. I was wearing plaid. I should have been wearing plaid. Sorry. I digress. But you mentioned something earlier when we were talking about when you guys were recording the album and everything else, and you said tilting the cone.
Yes.
What does that mean for you guys?
Well, I really need the guy who invented the phrase here to say it, but it means like, it was a funny thing. Like, this is really what it meant to us. When you work on a team, sometimes I think we're all believers in our band of like, team is usually the best way forward. And if you do it in the right way, you can get all the great things that happen when you work with a team. But I think there's been times where when you work with a team, sometimes compromise happens and it's like not the best for the art. It's like, oh, well, we can't decide on it. Like, we'll just meet in the middle somewhere. It's like, and so I think what it meant for us was like, for example, Everything I See, the lead single off of it, kind of had a funky feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's tilt the cone, just like go into like Red Hot Chili Peppers Funkland. What does that look like for us? Because if we lean into that, it's still going to be easy honey. But it was like, let's serve the song and really, and then the last track is called Twilight. It's a really beautiful song that my brother Webster, who plays bass, he really led that song and wrote it. And, we left that one very stripped back. I mean, it just, to tilt the cone for that was like Nick Drake, man, just like, let it be. I was like playing slide with like my AirPods case, and like on the pre-production, it's like, I'm going to try to do that again. And so anyway, that's what it means to us. It's like, don't settle. And it's like, work together as a team, but don't just do it to make everybody happy. You know what I mean? Like, really lean into whatever we're going for as a group and fight for your decision about something and really try to serve the song.
Man, that's impressive. Only because I've interviewed a bunch of bands over the years. I've watched countless documentaries about that very thing, about bands, not artists doing it when they're in charge and everybody's just kind of has to listen to them. But when you hear like band, like Fleetwood Mac comes to mind. I mean, if you know anything about that band, which I'm sure you do, they compromised a lot and they fought a lot. But because of the beliefs that they fought is why you have the band or the album Rumors, right? Like that is like heartbreak up on a platter, both lyrically and musically. So it's not an easy process to do that. You really have to love the people that you're with in the band to be able to survive something like that.
Totally. That was what came to mind when you were mentioning that as well. And it's like, it's all out of love for the work and whatever the art we're making together. But yeah, if you're just being nice and compromising, it's not really good for anything. You know what I mean? And so like, I think that was just a cool, and it went well, like, I mean, we continued on as a band and there wasn't like, it wasn't like Rumors this time, but like,
I mean, they continued on for a while after that. They just, they did that's their thing.
I've been listening to Tusk.
Oh yeah.
I can't get into Tusk. I was like, I've tried like a couple times.
With the whole,
I don't know.
The marching band.
Yeah. So maybe I'll try it again here in a couple weeks.
It's not Rumors. I'll say that.
It's not. It's funny. It's funny how that can happen though. It's like the same people were working on. I mean, I think the same people were still in the band and everything, but like, it's amazing how the time and place, this snapshot of where we are, I mean, it's just the coolest thing about art, man. In any form or medium is like, it's that cool little snapshot. And sometimes people don't connect with it until, like I said, Nick Drake earlier, and it's like, he had no recognition, in his lifetime, which is so crazy. And now every, teen is like using it on TikTok and is like falling in love with Nick Drake. And even like my brother Webster and I have an older brother, and we'll be talking about like Led Zeppelin, and he'll be like, that's the song that's big now. And I'm like, yeah, man, like that people love, like everyone knows that song now. And he's like, dude, that was like a seaside song, dude. Like back at like, when he was growing up. So even like how like discographies can get kind of like found again as, people
That's crazy thing about music. I mean, because back in the day, you would only know what was popular because of what AM radio played, right? And that was it. But people forget there were whole albums that were put out. And if you weren't like one of the album nerds that listened to the whole album, odds are you only knew whole lot of love. You know what I mean? Or
Totally.
Stairway to Heaven, but you didn't know all the other songs. And that goes for like every band from that era, from the Eagles to Fleetwood Mac, or hell, even AC/DC has so many songs that people don't know. That's the beauty of music. That's why we're talking. I've kept you for a long time, and I apologize. I can't help it. I talk music. You seem like you're somewhere nice, warm, and sunny, which I hate to tell you, my friend, is not what's going on right here in Chicago at the moment. Where are you at right now?
We're actually in Minneapolis.
That's random. You're north of us, and it looks like it's middle of September up there.
Our friends in Minneapolis just took us to this cold plunge sauna place, and right before the interview, I was in the cold plunge. So if I'm like sitting, I was trying to find some warm sun to warm up a little bit. But yeah, man. Well, we can't wait to be in Chicago. It's just been a dream to get to come play in the Midwest, and especially Chicago. And we're actually playing Lollapalooza this year, which is like blown my little mind. If I told my high school self that, I'd be losing my mind. So we're honored to be there and excited to come play Schubas and then get to Lolla this summer.
Have you been to Lolla before as just a fan?
No.
Have you been to Chicago before? That's one of the things I forgot to ask you.
Yes, we've been as a band. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But first time at Schubas?
First time at Schubas. Yep. We our last show was a sold out show at the Hideout. If you're familiar with that little room. Yeah, near the Salt Shed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Schubas is in the middle of like a neighborhood, man. Like more than Salt Shed. Salt Shed's like in a weird old industrial area that's now super cool. Schubas is like in a neighborhood not far from Wrigley Field where the Cubs play. It's a great time. And Schubas is like this old bar that's a venue. It's fucking rad, man. You're gonna love it, and it's gonna happen this Sunday, April 12th. Schubas. What time are you guys going on stage?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Say 9 o'clock.
And people can get tickets, go to Schubas, or I imagine they go to your website and get linked, right?
Yeah. Just go to easyhoneymusic.com and you'll find the tour page right there, and, can dive into the world, man.
All right, Selby, thank you so much for taking time out of your Friday afternoon in the basking glory of the Minnesota sunshine to sit and talk with me. I do appreciate it.